Man, it's been a while since my last video. I'm sure my thousands of fans are anticipating my return, hungry for my thoughts and voice. Oh, I know the perfect thing for my return. Something so grand, so original, something never seen before, so amazing, so overwhelmingly unique that it will blow everyone's mind. Okay, everyone knows 2020 sucked, but that didn't stop movies from coming out, and it sure didn't stop me from watching them. This was actually the most films I've ever watched in a year. I usually watch like 8 movies a month sometimes, and one time I even got to like 5 movies in 1 week or something. Okay, that's not that much, I guess, but the point is, I love this year as far as movies go. I've learned a lot, and I felt some of the most meaningful moments I've ever felt from film. So, anyways, let's get to what you all came here for. The top 5 movies some random kid liked in 2020. Yeah, but real quick, this list isn't going to be some supreme definitive list. It's of course just my opinion, and there's a lot of great films that I missed but really wanted to see but never got around to for some reason. And I'm sure they would be on here if I had, but I didn't, so they're not. Also, I'll try to keep the spoilers light, but minor spoiler warning anyways. First up is an unusual pick, as in you probably won't see it on many other top 5 lists of 2020, but Aaron Sorkin, the director, had already been one of my favorite writers for a while, ever since I fell in love with The Social Network. Imagine I was pretty psyched to find out about his upcoming historical / courtroom drama coming out in 2020. If I had to describe his script in one word, it would probably be snarky, witty, or intelligent. Dang it, that's 3. His films are full of larger-than-life characters with strong and intense opinions, and his signature dialogue style is full of fast-paced, almost poetic lines and dozens of clever one-liners and snark remarks. And I really dig it.
We're not a pit crew at Daytona. This can't be fixed in seconds.
You didn't have seconds. You had 3 weeks. The universe was created in a third of that time.
Well, someday you'll have to tell us how you did it.
And this film was no different. It was full-blown Sorkin, especially since he directs, not just writes. It was really entertaining despite being a courtroom drama. If there's anything Sorkin is not, it's boring. From the moment the film starts with that snappy, quick-paced opening sequence, all the way till the credits rolled, I was capital E engaged. Sorkin manages to keep the courtroom scenes from getting boring or stale by intercutting scenes from the past, and it builds tension really well. He doesn't use the witness stand as a plot device to tell a story, he uses it to elevate the moments and themes of the story. He even threw in some real footage into that midpoint, and man, I love that sequence. And of course, it wouldn't be a great film of 2020 without some relevant themes and commentary. The film explores governmental suppression, systematic racism, and police brutality in a powerful and impactful way that really resonated with me. And yeah, the film has its problems, especially the ending, which was completely fictional, but like I said earlier, I'm sure I missed many other great films that would quickly bump this out of my top 5. Hey, speaking of top 5, let's move on to the next movie on my top 5 list. That was a horrible segue. I've already made a video on this film, and I'm pretty sure I did an okay job explaining why I loved it in that one, so I'll try to keep it pretty brief. If you want a more in-depth take, check out that video. But to summarize, this film is probably the best directorial debut of this year. I don't watch many indie films, so this one was a nice treat, and it really exceeded my expectations. The great thing about indie films is it forces the people behind them with that small budget to make the most of what they have, and it brings a level of creativity that most blockbusters don't have. First-time director Andrew Patterson goes all in displaying not only a fresh, well-written sci-fi story, but also countless masterful and tasteful filmmaking techniques. For example, that one shot I'm sure you've heard of if you're familiar with the film, where the camera sweeps literally across the whole town, through a crowd of hundreds of extras, and through the building. That stuff is quite the challenging feat and takes some serious directorial skills. It's basically Patterson saying, hey, check out what I could do. But it's not all just technical skill, he also knows the craft of storytelling really well. The parts of the film taking place over the radio or interviews were just straight up mesmerizing, especially that magical moment when he fades to black and we were left with just the sound of this man's interview over the air.
And that's part of the plan, which is why they pieced together teams from all over the country and only brought us in for one task at a time, so no one would know everything.
Oh, great stuff. Overall, Andrew Patterson's skill is on full display here, and I cannot wait to see what he does next. Hey, speaking of next, let's move on to the next movie on this list. Although this film came out the earliest last year out of any on this list, it's actually the last one I watched this year. I'm definitely glad I caught it though, and I see why it's on so many other top 10 lists. I've heard Kelly Reichardt always has this really natural, slow style of filmmaking, which I definitely saw in First Cow, and I really like it. Reichardt views this early American story of friendship through this lens of subtlety and calmness, often focusing on the gentler moments while placing the grimmer, harsher moments in the background and edges of the frame, and in the case of the ending, even off screen. I really like that because while this film's center focus is on this nice little friendship formed between an unlikely pair, we still get a grander commentary on colonialism in the fringes of this film. Another thing I also really liked about the first couple of minutes of this film, and really throughout the whole film, was actually pointed out in Thomas Flight's video, The Gentle Brilliance of First Cow's Editing. What a title. And it's just that, Reichardt's editing. In that video, he points out his favorite cut of the year, this one from the beginning of First Cow. If you want to know the greatness in depth of that cut, just check out that video. But to summarize, we already know that we are in the present at this moment in the film because in the shot before we saw this girl's modern appearance. And then cutting from this lifeless, dark wide shot to this close, intimate, colorful green shot, and also these worn old-timey boots, we can infer that we are now back in time, possibly at the beginning of the story of these two skeletons. And also, right after that beautiful score comes in. Oh, just another great part of this film. But to sum it all up, this was really refreshing, and I need to put more films like this on my watch list. Speaking of watch list, okay, I'm done trying to segue, let's just move on to the next film. I've always thought Pixar films were pretty entertaining and good at what they do, which is pull on the audience's heartstring, but Soul was something completely new and different. It had a depth and profoundness found nowhere else in the Pixar slate or even in this little genre of family movies. First of all, the animation and imaginative concepts are ever so present here. Pixar has come to the point where they basically have this kind of stuff down to a science. The concepts and imagery are as vibrant and imaginative as usual, but also sometimes very beautiful and moving. I love how the end of one's existence is visualized through this conveyor belt in the middle of nothingness, moving towards a field of specks of light converging into one grand whole of brightness. And while there are many captivating visuals in the Soul realm, I think the real heart of this film lies outside of that, in the real world. The film explores the beauty of life in such a touching and warm way. The film's main message is not getting caught up in our purpose in life and just living it. It was a message I may not have realized I needed right now, but am more than glad I got. The way this film captures the beauty of life is something I never thought I could feel from an animated movie, and as stupid as it sounds, it may have brought me to tears. In this plot, we have a middle-aged jazz musician, Joe, placed with a soul who has never lived a life on Earth before. And from that, we get these special moments of purity and clarity, often forgotten by people like Joe and even people like you and I. Too caught up on success or purpose or responsibility or any of the countless things constantly weighing down on us. Too caught up on these things to enjoy the simple beauties of our existence. And forgetting the important moments of our life here on Earth. Moments like the memory as a child of your mother's warm face, or enjoying a song with your dad on a peaceful evening, the way the sun flashes through the trees on a warm summer day, the way those leaves fall down from those trees, or the taste of a delicious meal, sharing something with someone you love, or the cold ocean washing by your sandy feet on the beach. even the sunrise right outside your window, and so many more. I know these moments, I have felt them, I have experienced them, and I know how they feel. And through this film, I'm able to appreciate them more and seek these moments out. Okay, sorry for getting all sloppy and probably pretentious. This video was supposed to be pretty laid back. But I really love this film and I just wanted to do it justice. And now for the moment you've all been waiting for, my #1 movie of the year. From the moment I saw Riz Ahmed in the trailer for this thing on Amazon Prime, I was hyped. I knew this guy could give an amazing performance, like in Nightcrawler, but he was kind of in Jake Gyllenhaal's shadow in that film, and I couldn't wait to see this guy in a lead role. Ahmed plays Ruben, a rock drummer who unexpectedly becomes deaf. But the film's not actually about his challenges pursuing his career with the challenge of being deaf. It's actually about his moving journey, coming to terms with the fact that he has to let go of control and accept that he can't fix this part of his life. The sound design is phenomenal, showing us what it's like to be deaf for Ruben just at the right moments without ever getting overused or annoying. One moment I really liked in relation to the sound design is in the first act. The first act is basically just Ruben's regular life at a concert, the next day with his morning routine and him driving around and stuff, but then he becomes deaf, and a moment later we see these same exact things replayed in silence, and suddenly everything becomes so isolated and alarming. It's really good. There's also so many countless emotional moments that will just wring your heart out like a wet wash rag. Not only through amazing performance, but also through great direction and sound as well. And then of course there's that beautiful ending that may or may not have perhaps also brought me to tears. It's just a really special moment. You just get to sit in silence with Ruben at the end of his journey. It's really good. I really liked it. And that's my list. I highly recommend watching any of these movies. Make sure to like and subscribe, and see you guys next time.